What's up, guys? I think it started already. I'm not sure, but how we doing? Who's here in the chat? Just say what's up. I see Diana or Nigel is in here. I see Dave. I'm trying to go over to my account right now and just make sure. Oh, look. There I am. Live and looks okay. So it's just a little dark. Okay. Sorry, there's going to be some echo because of that. Anyway, happy Friday, guys. How's everyone doing today? Did anyone go out and ride bikes, learn new tricks? We're going to wait for a few people to show up here. I started it early today. Usually I'm late, but today we're on time. And I'm getting sick. Can you tell? Do I sound sick? What's up, Aaron? Are you liking the kink whip? Was it a good choice? All right, we're gonna go through some. Good, man. I'm glad you like it. Have you done any upgrades to it? What'd you upgrade on it? You've had it for a year. I'm sure you've done some upgrades. What's up, Nick? Old Nick in here. Man, love having you guys in here. Okay. I had this all switched. Bought some new pegs, new grips. What grips did you go with? We'll make my picture bigger here. Gonna change the brakes. Okay, I'm over on the Discord right now. And there we go. What's up, Antonio? Antonio, you've been in the lives consistently, man. I appreciate that. You're always showing up out here. All right, let's go through some of these bikes while we wait for some people to show up. Hake always has the good pictures. That is a good picture of the bike. Nice city skyline. We got the blue waters. Ton's Federal build. This looks pretty nice. I like, these pedals. Ton, these are good pedals. I used to run those. So I would run Odyssey Twisteds. Those used to be my favorite pedals ever. And then I decided to switch it up. And what was I doing? I think I was in Cardiff at Ramp World. And I did just a stupid table. I just did a straight table over the box jump. And my feet came off. Like, I twisted the bike for the table. My feet just blew off. And I was like, this is crazy. And I crashed. And so then I went to the bike shop inside of the skate park and bought these pedals for some extra grip. And I really enjoyed them because they're not super heavy. The pins provide a good amount of grip, but also not too much, if that makes sense. Like, it's important that, I don't know, you guys will figure it out on your own. But if you get pedals with too much grip, you're going to be trying to manual, and then you're going to loop out and just crash hard, and it's going to be because your feet get stuck on the stupid pins. So you got to be careful with all that. I think we talked about this one in the last live. It's an interesting build that Kirk built up. I like the orange, it's very unique, but the gold hubs, I don't know about that. I appreciate the expression and using gold as a colorway because it's kind of hard to do, but that looks like a lot. There's a lot going on there. It's a pretty nice build too. What do you guys think about this kind of sprocket? You guys fans or not fans? personally, I like a sprocket with a little bit of design on it. But I'm curious, like, do most people love those plain blank sprockets or what? Okay. What did DR says? Hey, I'm thinking of getting a Sunday headset. Are they any good? And Antonio, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Honestly, dude, most headsets are gonna be the same. Like if we go to if we go to Dance Comp and we look at any headset here, we are going to find, hold on. Sorry, I'm just trying to make this fit. Yo, Jared, what's up, man? Jared's my favorite channel member. Got that gold badge next to his name. Jared, how's everyone? How are the kiddos? Okay, headsets. So if we go to headsets, like here's the thing. They're all going to be very similar. The only difference is, like right now, this is a good price, dude. $18 for the Sunday headset. That's a good deal. You can get, but like, anyway, what I'm getting at, when I'm buying a headset, I like to buy headsets with multiple spacer options. I think that's an important thing to look into. But aside from that, they're all going to be bearings and they're all going to do the same as long as you get like a legit one like this. These are for different things. You don't need it, okay? But okay, here, I want to point out one thing. Hold on. Let me find it. I don't know if Dan's has it actually, but there's a kink one that's like $200. It's a ceramic headset. Now that is a different headset. And I'm telling you, you don't need to spend that much on a headset. I don't know. Kink, I don't know what they're doing, honestly. I don't know what they're doing with a freaking ceramic headset, but you know, to each their own, I guess. We just won't like. Would I buy a $200 headset? No. Would you buy a $200 headset? Maybe if you're a little bit crazy. So like a headset like this, like look at all these extra spacers that it has. You've got multiple size options. The worst thing is buying a spacer or buying a headset and then not having the right amount of spacers. Like you need different variants and sometimes you need more, sometimes you need just a really small one. So oh look, it's right here. It's $130. Thai ceramic headset. This is crazy. Sealed ceramic ball bearings, titanium nitride coating, bearing races. Like I don't understand the point because it's not like maybe for somebody doing pentabar spins, right? If you're just slinging all the bars, you're Ryan Nyquist. Maybe you need a ceramic headset, but honestly, for most riders, you don't need a $130 headset. That is just crazy to me. I want to look at the weight though. So 2.5 ounces, like maybe that's the reason. Antonio, you're running the ceramic headset? Or you're running the ceramic? Okay, 2.5 ounces. The Merit one is also 2.5 ounces, and it's literally $100 cheaper. So weight, I don't understand. I just can't imagine that ceramic deal and the titanium really is going to give you a huge edge. I don't understand it. Maybe that's the problem. I just don't know what the point. Antonio, what's the point? Oh, Jared, tell Payson happy birthday. That's awesome, man. Happy birthday, Payson. No, my 114s do not squeak that I've noticed. They don't squeak very bad. One of the coolest, I'm still looking at headsets. Anyway, to answer the question, whatever headset you get, as long as you get one that's like, that's just not a thread on, or, you know, not a, like this. You get just a normal ass headset like this, like whatever. Anyway, like any of those that we talked about, you're going to be fine. So the price really doesn't matter that much, or like the brand doesn't matter. They're all going to be the same. The biggest difference is going to be that ceramic headset. And like Antonio says, it made no difference. It's more of a flex, I think. And yeah, anyway, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Let's see. Did I miss any questions? You got the sound wave. Oh, nice, dude. Where'd you end up ordering it from? Look how can you guys see? You can't really tell how grimy my fingernails are. So I got a story. Jared, you'll appreciate this story. So I told you on Thanksgiving I was going to see my mom in Tucson, and then the Bimmer was leaking coolant. I was like, oh no, this isn't good. So I stopped. I couldn't tell where it's leaking from. Like there's all the plastic stuff and covers all over. So anyway, I finally got my car back up here. I pulled it in the garage and I let it sit for like a week because I didn't have time to get to it. Yesterday, I rented a pressure kit so I could pressurize it and see where the leak's coming from. I took it apart. And then there's a small hose that runs from the top radiator hose over to the coolant tank. So it's just like an overflow hose. And it's leaking there. It's broken. Now, what is going on with the fireworks? You guys, wait, okay. Did the fireworks just happen for you guys too? What the fuck? What is going on? It's something with this new Apple update. Did you guys see the fireworks or no? Or there's fireworks behind me on my screen on OBS. Okay. I don't know what's going on, but that's just been happening, like random thumbs up and stuff. And it's something with the new Apple update. Maybe? Yeah. What the hell? That's so crazy. I just emoted in real life. That's wild. Anyway, found the leak. That is bizarre. Anyway, found the leak. It's just it's like a $40 hose. So that's good. I was super hyped because it wasn't anything expensive. Here's what I thought. I was like, okay, it's probably a headset or water pump. It's probably, I don't know, something expensive, you know? And then it wasn't. It was just that $40 hose. So that was like, cool, this is awesome. I go to pull the little hose off. I take it off the reservoir tank. I undo it. I go. And then I pull it off from the upper radiator hose. I pull it off and it snaps the little plastic piece that's built into the upper radiator hose for it to mount on. So I was like, okay, fair enough. You know, I might as well do the upper and lower hoses while I'm at it. So I go to pull off the upper hose. And BMWs have this weird, like they don't just use normal hose clamps like American cars. They use their snap fit things. And so getting the snap fit off wasn't that hard. But where it mounted onto the water pump, or where it mounted onto like the temperature thing, was on there good. So like I'm pulling with the wrath of God. You know, I'm just like pulling. I'm turning red. I'm pulling, twisting, like wiggling, everything. Finally, I got it off. Okay. Now, where it mounts to the radiator, same way. It was just seized on there, and I'm pulling. And I was like, God, I don't want to break it. So I Googled it real quick, and everyone's like, yeah, you know, after it's been there for a while, it's going to be pretty hard to get off. So just keep pulling. Like, you're fine. Don't twist or anything. Just pull. And I'm like, okay. I pull. I fucking broke that mount where it goes onto the radiator, rip it off. And so now I need a new radiator. So I just went from like $40 hose to another $40 hose to $400 or $500 radiator. I found one for pretty cheap that has the sensor mount that it needs, but I'm going to order stuff today and make sure that it works. But anyway, after that, I think I'll quit breaking stuff and we'll be good. So anyway, that's the update. Jared, you said your BMW's leaking coolant too. Dude, trash. I don't get rid of it. I don't want a BMW anymore. Just don't want it. I'm over it. Okay. I'm over it. I put together a little video today for you guys. We're going to talk about cranks. So last week we talked about the 3 worst cranks to buy. Today we're going to talk about the 12 best cranks to buy. Now I'm going to try and do this in Yeah. I popped the clips up. Clips were popped. I pulled the clips completely out, so they weren't even catching. It was just seized on there. Like, it was crazy. I can't even explain that. All the other hoses came off fine, but that upper one was just on there bad. Okay. Anyway, I put together this little presentation for you guys. We're going to talk about the top 12 BMX cranks to ever exist. All right. And so what we need to do here is get right to it, because you guys might be wondering, what are the 12 best BMX cranks? And this is what we're going to put together. We're going to mostly go over, I don't know, it's mostly on value, but it's important to know, like, there are certain things about cranks that you need to understand when you're upgrading. Like, do you want a 22 millimeter? Do you want a 19? Do you want a 24? Like, what kind of cranks do you need? What are right for you? Do you need long crank arms, short crank arms? There's so much to go into it, but I found 12 really good cranks. I'll link to them in the description. But anyway, let's just bust through it. Okay. Let's take a look at these cranks. Now I want to make sure that my screen's working. Okay, what's going on? All right, it's kind of working, I think. We're about to find out. So let's run through some of these cranks. We've got the top 12 BMX cranks. These are the best 12 cranks that I could find, and they're all under 200. I don't think any of them get over 200, but spending 200 on cranks is quite a bit. First, we've got the Shadow Conspiracy Finest cranks. I picked these because, one, they look really good, and this is what Shadow says about them. Shadow says that the finest cranks are here to put all the other cranks in their coffin. Get it? Because Shadow has coffins. Like, it's part of their brand. I don't know. Funny. Anyway, it's got a hollow 22 millimeter spindle that's going to enhance the strength and stiffness while remaining slim and out of the way of the ankles. They are left and right side drive compatible. These cranks cost $193. They're available in 160, 165, 170, and 175. They weigh 32 ounces, and they've got a black and chrome design option. I think personally these cranks look really good. I wouldn't really say that they look ankle friendly. Like, if you look at that ledge where the spindle goes in, like that is kind of a decent overhang. I think that could catch your ankles and be a little bit painful, but teach their own. Okay, some of the pros about these cranks, or some of the pros of these cranks, is that they're full chromoly and they do have those oversized welds that Shadow mentioned. So personally, I've broke a lot of different profile cranks, and it always is right there where the crank arm attaches to the spindle boss. And I think it's because of the bad welds and just that they're a little bit smaller, I'm a little bit heavier, and it's just a bad combination. These crank arms are a unique shape. They look a little bit different than most cranks, and they have flat sides. These flat sides are pretty good for people who like to do crank arm grinds. If you're a better rider than me, you can probably do crank arm grinds, and having squared off cranks like this is going to be more beneficial than the rounded cranks. Rounded cranks are going to make it harder. They've got left hand and right hand drive bosses. Now, some of the cons of these cranks are that they're expensive. The chrome pair is almost $200. I think that's a lot of money for some cranks. I think that's way too much money for some cranks. They are a little bit heavy. They weigh right around 2 pounds or 32 ounces, and they're pretty bulky looking. They don't have a really slim, clean look, but because of everything, I'm going to rank these like a 7.7 out of 10. They could be better. They could be lighter. They could be cheaper. There's a lot of different things that these cranks could do better, but overall, like, these are decent cranks. And if you catch them on sale, you're getting a really good deal. I think they're a good option for street riders who like to do mostly street with a little bit of park. The second ones that I picked were the Stolen Talon V2 cranks. And before you come at me, it's not because these are the best quality cranks in the world. I'll explain why I picked them towards the end of this little section. But Stolen says that the Talon 2 cranks feature a newly revised crank arm shape, and you can tell because it looks a little bit funny. It's got 4130 full chromoly. It looks good, but the shape, or it helps shed unnecessary weight. I don't think that that's true. It's got 19 millimeter 48 spline spindle that's heat treated, and it includes flush mount spindle bolts. You would expect that. It's right hand drive and left hand drive compatible. The cool thing about these cranks is they're only $79. They're available in 3 sizes, 165, 170, and 175, but they weigh 35 ounces. I don't know what they're talking about weight there in the description. 35 ounces is not shedding weight. That is not light at all. But anyway, some of the pros include, these are a very affordable upgrade. For $79, you're getting cranks that are full chromoly with a 48 spline spindle. That makes them a great upgrade for stock cranks that are like 8 spline cranks. They are 48 spline spindle for strength. It's a lot cleaner of a look. It does shed some weight, as opposed to 8 spline stock cranks. I'd imagine these are quite a bit lighter, but overall, they're still heavy. I'm stuck on the heaviness thing. They're also left-hand and right-hand drive. So if you're looking for stronger cranks to upgrade to, and you want cranks, and maybe in the future you're going to get a left-hand drive sprocket, or you're going to switch everything to left-hand drive, maybe getting these is a good upgrade, spending that $80 so that eventually you can switch over to left-hand drive. Some of the cons is the funny looking design. I don't know. Do you guys like these? Do you think that the way that these look is nice, or do you think it's a little bit weird? I think it looks weird, but I'm very judgmental. They're well over 2 pounds, making them very, very heavy cranks, and they're only available in this black color option. Because of everything, they're only going to score a 5.4 out of 10. But again, I wanted to pick them because I did want some cranks that are good upgrades from stock cranks at an affordable price. And these are under $100. So they're not the best cranks, but for under $100, it's a good upgrade over the stock cranks that came on your bike. Unless you got a high quality bike with 48 spline cranks, but most stock cranks are not going to be that. Number 3 on the list are the Odyssey caliber cranks. These are a ground up redesign from the 3-piece crank set that resulted in a massive improvement in both strength and durability. These are the cranks that I run on my street bike, and I really like them. They've got a 48 spline spindle. They're 3-piece, unlike the Odyssey Thunderbolt crank, so you can run a spline drive sprocket on it. Left-hand drive, right-hand drive compatible. The Boss look isn't as clean as some of those other cranks where they're built in, like, where it runs down from the spindle Boss, the sprocket Boss. Like, I don't know. It doesn't look as clean as the ones that are built in as one, but that's okay because they're $169. They're available in 160, 165, 170, and 175. They weigh 30 ounces. Okay. Now, some of the pros of these cranks include the heat-treated chromoly. These are really strong cranks, and they're built to last. They're designed to last. The 22 millimeter spindle provides like a stronger spindle. It's going to be a little more hollow, so you get more strength for weight. And these cranks are under 2 pounds. Most of that is because that 22 millimeter design. They're just built really well for lighter cranks. Some of the cons include that they're only available in this black color option. I also think that there's too many like colors and logos going on there. I think there's a lot going on. Like some people like it, some people don't. I think it would be nice to just have a little bit more of a sleek look. I like the shadow cranks that just had an engraved emblem on there. There's a lot going on with these. Like these just say Odyssey, Odyssey, Odyssey all over it. So I don't know. To each your own. Okay. They're also that overhang there that I'm talking about right here can catch onto your ankles, and they no longer include a bottom bracket. These cranks used to come with a bottom bracket, and they do not anymore, which is a little bit disappointing because it would be nice to get nice cranks like this with a bottom bracket for $170. But I really like these cranks. I love riding them on my bike. They feel solid. I don't worry about them breaking like I do my profiles. And so they're going to score a 9 out of 10. All right, number 4 is going to be the Animal Akimbo cranks. The Akimbo cranks are 3-piece cranks from Animal. These are really popular street cranks, and you don't see very much from Animal, or much about Animal. They're not a super popular, super hyped brand that I can tell. They have some shredders. They're doing their thing, but they're not like Odyssey. They're not like Haro. They're not like Kink, just out there in the front face of the media all the time. And these are cranks that have been around for a long time that people really trust and people really appreciate. They're $179. They're available in these 4 crank arm lengths. They weigh 33 ounces. And in the box, when you open up that box, that looks nice. Look at that. You got that install tool. You got the flush crank mount. It's just a nice looking thing. Very nice. Well put together. Some of the pros are they're right-hand drive, left-hand drive compatible. Just like the caliber cranks, they have that strong 22 millimeter spindle, and they include the installation and removal tool. Some of the things I don't like about these cranks are that they're a little bit heavier, more heavy than the calibers. They're over 2 pounds. I think they're right at 33 ounces. I said it earlier. Anyway, 33, right? Yeah, okay. Had to make sure that I wasn't crazy. A little heavy, 33 ounces. The sprocket options, because of it being a 22 millimeter spindle, are a little bit limited. Most sprockets are 19 millimeter. Some of them have a top cap, and the top cap, without the top cap, they're 24 millimeter. Okay. They're going to score an 8.4. Not quite as good as the caliber cranks, but pretty dang close. Next, number 5 is the Kink Brace cranks. These are newer cranks. They're super strong, super durable. They've got more of a rounded design and a big hollow 24 millimeter spindle, I'm pretty sure. They cost $159. They're available in 160, 165, 170, and 175. They weigh 33.5 ounces. I really like that they come with the True Therm, which is Kink's special heat treating process. They're heat treated chromoly. That makes them a little bit stronger. Oh, they're 22, not 24. They're a 22 millimeter spindle, and the sprocket bolt has multiple options. You can use an Allen wrench, or you can use the square piece on your ratchet. And that's kind of unique, kind of different. I don't know. I feel like if you have a ratchet, you also have a 6 millimeter. So I don't understand the point there unless you need more leverage, but you typically don't. So it's a cool little unique option. They also come in black and chrome. Okay. Now, some of the cons include that they're not very ankle friendly. I think like every brand is like, oh yeah, these are so ankle friendly. And it's like, they don't look ankle friendly, man. Look at that overhang there. So that's a little disappointing, but to each its own. Ankle friendliness is a big thing on my judgment here, because doing a whip, doing a no footer, and coming back on and catching your ankle on the cranks is the worst feeling ever. Not only does it hurt right away, it bruises and then hurts every time after that. They are heavy. They're 33.5 ounces, which is over 2 pounds. And that rounded design makes it a little bit harder for crank arm grinds. And these are supposed to be street cranks. So it's a little tough there, but they're going to score an 8.2, a little bit lower than the Animal Akimbo cranks, but they're still good cranks. For somebody who is going to ride a mix of street and park, you want some solid cranks that are going to last. You're a Casey Sterling kind of guy. Those are a solid choice. Next, I'm really excited about these ones because I wasn't expecting them to be this good. The Stevie Churchill, the Primo cranks. Okay. And somebody, I think it was Nick in the comments, said that he has these cranks, right? That he ordered them. I was checking these out and I was really impressed with them. The design looks nice. They have color options. They've got a wrap welded pedal boss, a one-piece spindle, a 24 millimeter spindle. 24 millimeter cranks are hard to find, and when you do find them, you're going to notice that they're pretty strong. Like, that's a beefy sprocket, but it's also very hollow, and you get good weight reduction. They're normally $215, on sale at Dan's Comp right now for $135, so almost $100 off. You can only find them in 165 and 170 millimeters, and they weigh 28.6 ounces. These are the lightest cranks we've reviewed so far. I was very impressed with that. Very impressed, because I think profiles are around 25 if I remember right. So just for 3 ounces more, you can get stronger cranks for a crazy price. For $135 is crazy. Some of the pros include that lightweight that I was talking about. They're under 30 ounces. That's really hard to find. These cranks are full chromoly. They're heat treated, so they're going to last. It comes with a bottom bracket, which is another wacky thing. For $135, you're getting cranks with a bottom bracket now. On all the other cranks we talked about before, especially if they're a bigger size, you're going to have to upgrade the bottom bracket. So typically you're going to have a 19 millimeter bottom bracket, and when you buy 22 millimeter cranks, you need a 22 millimeter bottom bracket. So any of those cranks we talked about previously, that's their price without the bottom bracket. These cranks are priced with the bottom bracket, and that's a great deal. They're also available in multiple color options. Most cranks are only available in black. These have some different options, so that's really cool. Now, it only is going to work with 24 millimeter sprockets. So you might have to buy a new sprocket even though you didn't have to buy a new bottom bracket. And that is a little bit hard. You can't just upgrade your cranks from a 19 to a 24 without getting a 24 millimeter bottom bracket, but you also will probably have to get a new sprocket. The size options are pretty limited on these cranks, and with that sale price going on, they're going to be really hard to find in stock. I gave them a 7.9 because I think that the limited option makes it a little bit harder for riders to find the right size for them, and it might, because of the price and value, it might force them into buying cranks that are the wrong size and end up stuck with those. But they're amazing cranks, amazing deal. Comes with the bottom bracket. Like, you really can't go wrong with these cranks. Okay, next we've got the Demolition Revolt cranks. The Revolt cranks are made with heat-treated chromoly arms that feature a thicker tubing and a unique V-shaped ridge on the front to increase strength and stiffness. They're $169. They come in a 165, 170, and 175 spindle or crank arm length. They weigh 32.2 ounces, so they're right at that 2-pound mark. And you can get them in a 19 millimeter or a 24 millimeter option. I think that's important because sometimes you just don't want to upgrade to a 24. You want to stick with 19 so you can keep your sprocket and you can keep your bottom bracket. With these, you can buy the 19 millimeter option. You don't have to worry about it. A lot of the other cranks are only made in one size, so that was a really cool thing. Some of the pros include the lifetime warranty that are included on these cranks. Lifetime warranty. You break them, they're going to replace them. You've got their left-hand drive and right-hand drive compatible, and they're made from strong heat-treated chromoly. I would say that the construction of these cranks give them a little bit of a strange look. Like, if you look at how the spindle boss is welded in there, that looks a little funky, and same with the pedal. They look unique, you know. That's all I'll say. They look very unique. They only come in one color option, and again, they do not look ankle friendly. These stick out pretty far up here. I guess that is a little bit flush, but that hang there, man, they say ankle friendly. I don't think they're ankle friendly. These Demolition Revolt cranks are going to score an 8.2. And yeah, again, I think they're really solid street cranks. All I hear about from those cranks is how strong they are. Like, one time I was riding, we were going real fast. I jumped the pyramid backwards and I went to flat. And I did it on purpose. I've done it many times. And I landed and my profile crank arm just snapped clean off. I jammed my foot into the ground. I crashed. And I was like, what the hell? It was a terrible experience. And so buying cranks that are not going to do that to you will be pretty beneficial. Next, we've got the Colony Venator cranks. These are going to be the next cranks that I buy for my park bike because they look good, they're clean, they're lightweight, and they're pretty good price. They're $195 for the chrome option, okay, which is expensive, but for when you see how light they are, you're going to be like, okay, fair enough. They're $165 or 165 millimeter crank arm, 170, 175. Those are your options, and they only weigh 25 ounces. So the same weight as profile cranks, just much stronger, much more reliable. You can tell by how they're welded and how they're constructed. They come in a 22 millimeter spindle option, which might be better. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I should have been running bigger profile cranks instead of 19s, but I don't know, man. Last week they were on the list for cranks not to buy. So the pros here is that weight. I can't get over how light these are. These are some of the lightest cranks that you're going to be able to find, and they're in a 22 millimeter option. They're left-hand drive and right-hand drive compatible, and for that price, you're getting the install tool. Kirk mentioned earlier that he installed his RNC cranks today, and he took his time and he used his tools, did not have to beat on it with a hammer. The way that I install my cranks is you put them in there as much as you can. You get the good old hammer and you beat it until it goes in, like until it works. You just beat the hell out of the cranks. And with an install tool included, you don't have to do that. That's pretty cool. Some of the cons include that the lightweight is a little bit concerning because it makes me question the durability. But I look at the welds, I look at the structure, and I look at the reviews and say, okay, well, I think that they're going to last just fine, even with that lightweight. The back of the pedal boss looks a little bit odd. If you look right here, it's not hollow. It's just weird. I think that looks weird. And they have really big, large logos on the crank arms. The black is probably going to get rubbed off by your shoe, and then it's going to look weird because you'll have like just a Y and an N maybe, and the rest gets rubbed off. It's just going to look a little funny. I'm giving these cranks an 8.5 out of 10. I think that they are great cranks. They look good. They're light, a little bit on the expensive side, but they're going to be worth it. Another one that I was surprised by. So I was surprised by the Primo cranks. I was also surprised by the Fit Blunt cranks. Oh, disappeared. By the Fit Blunt cranks. These are 24 millimeter cranks, but I really, really like how they, oops. Okay. I got to record it. I was really impressed with how that logo design looks on the Spindle Boss. I think that that's just like, that's a really clean look. Just the whole way the Spindle Boss is put together. It's like one insert there. And I think that's going to make it stronger. Just like there's some eclat cranks that are coming up, and they're very impressive too. But anyway, this crank set comes with a mid-bottom bracket. They're right-hand drive and left-hand drive compatible, and the bolts work with a 6 millimeter or an 8 millimeter Allen key. And this is kind of cool because sometimes you don't have one of your Allen keys laying around. I think my cranks right now are 8 millimeter Allen keys, but I really only use a 6. And so when I have to adjust my cranks, I'm wandering around looking for my 6 or looking for my 8 because I never use it. So that's a little frustrating. These cranks are $189. They're available in 160 and 170 crank arm lengths, and they only weigh 30 ounces. So they're under 2 pounds. They've got that 24 millimeter spindle. These are solid cranks. Some of the pros include that really clean look that I mentioned. That square design is good for crank arm grinds, and it comes with a bottom bracket. You can't be mad about that, you know. It also comes with ankle-friendly design. Like I said, that's a big thing for me. If you look right here, that looks very ankle-friendly because what happens when you toe up is like your ankle is going to catch around this area, and just the fact that it's built into one unit right here makes me confident that your ankles are going to be okay. Some of the cons include a limited selection for sprockets. Like I said, 22 and 24 millimeters. You're going to need to upgrade that good old sprocket of yours. So now you're buying cranks and a sprocket. They're only available in this gloss clear colorway, which is a little disappointing. I like black cranks, but it's okay. They're going to score a 9.1. I was really happy with the way these look. They're strong. They're under 2 pounds. They're definitely a solid choice. But they're not nearly, sorry, my voice, I should have not live streamed today with how bad my throat hurts, but we're going to crank it out. We're going to do the live stream. Also, guys, don't forget, throw your questions in there because when I get done with this, I'll go through and answer all of your questions. I want to be there to answer any BMX question you have, okay? But I also want to make this video. So next on the list are the Odyssey Thunderbolt cranks. I put these on the bike that we did a giveaway for, and I was a little bit hesitant because of the weird design and the way they work. I was actually impressed. They went together very easily. I was happy with the strength, happy with how easy it was to put together. Man, I keep burping. These are super good cranks, but they come at a price. They're $199. They're available in 3 crank arm lengths, but they weigh 27.3 ounces. So these are pretty light cranks for that high price. They're just a little bit harder to work on. They've got a 22 millimeter spindle, not a 24, but again, you know what happens with the 22 millimeter spindle. Some of the pros include a lifetime warranty on these cranks. If you get a complete bike with Thunderbolt cranks, these cranks also have a lifetime warranty. If you get a complete bike with the Odyssey caliber cranks, they do not have a lifetime warranty. Don't forget that. The design is something that I think is really unique, but the way that they build these cranks makes them confident that they will last forever. So they're giving you that lifetime warranty. They have a really clean, square design look, and they're super strong and durable cranks. One of the problems is that you cannot do a spline drive sprocket with these cranks. For a spline drive sprocket, you need to have splines. These cranks are put together with a unique system that do not have splines. So they're not 48 spline cranks. They're not 8 spline cranks. No spline drive allowed. The 2.5 piece crank system or the 2-piece crank system is going to be a pain to work on. It's going to be confusing if you've never done it before, and you've got to figure out that shim adjustment thing. And anyway, it is a little bit difficult your first try, but once you get them together, they're pretty solid. They're also left-hand drive and right-hand drive compatible, but they're in different options. So what that means is like you have to make sure if you need left-hand drive that you buy the left-hand drive version, which makes it a little bit more of an upgrade. Like if you buy cranks that are a bigger crank size, or even if you buy 19 millimeter cranks that are right-hand drive and left-hand drive as they come, you can buy them, get the benefits of new cranks without having to upgrade everything right away. And then when you're ready to switch over to left-hand drive, you can just swap over to left-hand drive. Versus these, if you're going to swap over to left-hand drive, you've got to buy these cranks, then you've got to buy the wheel for the left-hand drive, then you've got to switch everything over at once, because you can't just run it for a while on right side while you save up money to do the left-hand drive stuff. And that's a little bit frustrating. Anyway, these cranks score an 8.8 out of 10. They're not over a 9. So far, the Fit Blunts and the Caliber cranks are the only ones that are 9s. I think the 2-piece system on the Thunderbolt cranks causes a lot of headache, and just for that reason, they had to go down a little bit. Next, we've got some more affordable cranks, the Rant Bangin' 48. These are clean-looking 48 spline cranks. They've got a 19 millimeter spindle, and they're right-hand drive and left-hand drive compatible. They're only $100, so they're $20 more than those stolen cranks that we talked about earlier, but they look a lot cleaner. They're available in 165, 170, and 175 crank arm lengths. They're 34.5 ounces, so they're still very heavy cranks, and they have a 19 millimeter spindle. I think that I like these cranks because they're an affordable upgrade. Just like the stolen cranks, they're a good upgrade over cheap, heavy, stock 8 spline cranks, because these are 48 spline. They're going to be stronger and a little bit lighter. They're full heat treated chromoly. They're available in left-hand drive and right-hand drive. So just like that situation we were talking about earlier, you can go from like right-hand drive to left-hand drive. You can buy these cranks, upgrade the cranks, run right-hand drive until you have the money to switch over to left-hand drive. And that's a pretty cool thing. Some of the cons include they're very not ankle friendly. Again, that's a big thing for me. These are very heavy cranks, and that 19 millimeter spindle runs as a con just as much as it runs as a pro. They are phasing out 19 millimeter spindles. You're going to get heavier spindles with 19 millimeter because the 22 and the 24 are more hollow. So anyway, 19 millimeter spindle is kind of a way of the past, and everyone's switching to 22 or 24 anyway. These cranks are going to score a 6.4. I think they're quite a bit better than the stolen Talon cranks that we talked about, but they're nowhere near like the Demolition or the Primo or the Kink. They're just good 48 spline upgrades for somebody who needs to upgrade their cranks. Next on the list, these are ones that I'm really, really excited about. Really excited. These might be the strongest cranks out there. The Eclaw Onyx cranks. Eclaw says that they're the finest and most innovative cranks to date. They use an oversized 24 millimeter super hollow spindle with a dependable design and strong invest cast pedal and spindle boss. I'll explain what that is in a minute, but that's the game changer right there. They're $200 cranks. They're available in 160, 165, and 175 millimeter crank arm lengths. They weigh 29.4 ounces, so they're fairly light. They're under that 2-pound mark, and they've got a 24 millimeter spindle. Some of the pros include that Invest Cast pedal and spindle boss. So what that is We the People does this a lot with their frames, like Invest Cast dropouts, or in their forks, or wishbone. They use an Invest Cast wishbone. It's a solid piece of casted metal. So it's built as like a mold. It's casted just like that. And then it lines up for the weld. So if you look at this pedal boss right here, the pedal boss is going to look something like this. And then it has a piece that protrudes out like that right there. And it's all casted as one. It's not like it's just the pedal boss just slapped onto the crank and welded. It's casted together and then welded in a way that's going to last. It's a lot stronger this way. Same thing here. And typically doing Invest Cast adds a lot of weight, but it looks like they were able to avoid that and keep this pretty light. So I'd say these are probably the strongest cranks because of that, but we'd have to test them out for sure. They're under 30 ounces. Like I said, they're really light. They're chromoly crank arms and spindle, super strong, and they're very ankle and street friendly. Again, I like that one piece design, just like the Fit blunt cranks. I think that looks good. I think it's very solid. And you look at it here, man, that flushness, that clean look. These are such beautiful looking cranks. I can't get over it. Some of the problems though is that they're very expensive. You can only run 24 millimeter sprockets on them. Now, these score a 9.4. I think the Onyx cranks are incredibly high quality cranks that, man, they're expensive, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get these instead of the those Colony cranks that I was talking about. I think that this might be a better option. They're strong. That Invest Cast really interests me, but they'd be 4 ounces more than the Colony cranks. So anyway, there's a lot going on there. Lots of cranks to talk about, but I'm curious what cranks you guys currently run. What cranks do you guys run? Like I said, I've got the caliber cranks, and I have those. I have profiles on my park bike right now. And those profiles are used. They're actually, I'm surprised these profiles are still going. I was in England. I broke my profile crank arm in England and bought these other profiles off of a used bike from a used bike shop. And they've been going strong ever since. But I got to upgrade them, man. Upgrade them with those Eclaw. You guys like those Eclaw cranks, or am I crazy? I feel like those are the cleanest looking cranks, but I also think a lot of people could look at them and be like, no, those are ugly. But I think they look super clean. So now I think DR says, if my bike comes with a 19 millimeter spindle stock, am I able to use 22 millimeter spindle cranks? This is a great question. So when you're looking at upgrading your cranks, looking at the spindle is super, super important. And if your bike comes with a 19 millimeter spindle, you can't just buy the cranks and throw them on there. It's not going to work. It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. You've got let's see. Well, oh no, it'd be the opposite. You just won't be able to get your cranks in. Your spindle is going to be like, or your bottom bracket is going to be this big, right? And your spindle is going to be like this big. And so it won't even fit. You're going to have to buy your 22 millimeter cranks. You're going to have to buy a 22 millimeter bottom bracket. And you're probably going to have to buy a 22 millimeter sprocket. So it is a expensive project to buy new cranks if you're not already set up for them. So let me show you what I mean here. You're going to need a bottom bracket. That is 22 millimeters. So this one right here is 19 millimeters. It's not going to work because the hole is too small. It's a big problem to have. These are 22 millimeters. So you'll need to get something like this. You'll have to replace the bottom bracket. You can kind of tell here, like, look, this is a 19 millimeter. This is a 20. Look how much thinner the walls are on these. Honestly, it's only 3 millimeters, but when your cranks need to fit super flush, so that's going to be a big problem. Then you're also going to need to get sprocket. I'm pretty sure Now maybe actually, yeah. So you'll need a sprocket, and here's an interesting thing. Okay, this is what a lot of new sprockets are doing. Is they're going to come with a top cap. So these are the top caps, is what they call them, and I think this is going to be a 24 millimeter hole right here. If you use this top cap, it cuts it down to 19 millimeters, and then this top cap cuts it down to 22. Your stock sprocket probably isn't going to have those different options, and usually the sprocket size is 15/16 or 24 millimeter, and the top cap cuts it down to 19. So if you do go to 22, maybe you can get away with just getting a 22 millimeter top cap adapter. But typically, like if you're doing that, you just order a new sprocket. But anyway, like this one has two different adapters. Let's see what this one is. It's going to be 24. Yeah. So it's going to come with both adapters, and that's a cool thing with most sprockets. But anyway, your sprocket that you have, you won't have those adapters. So you'll have the 24 millimeter when you take the cap out, but you won't have that 22 millimeter adapter. So yeah, when you get new cranks, you're going to have to do those upgrades also. Rax has the Caliber V2 cranks also. Yeah, I like them, man. They are lightweight, and that was a big thing when I was picking them, is I wanted something fairly light that's going to last. And I just trust Sunday and Odyssey. I think they've always done good with their parts. You know, I appreciate Sunday and Odyssey. What happened with your Vans, Jared? Did I miss it? Why are you sad about having the DK Aura, Diana? I don't get it. Why are you're always in here repeating the same question? What's your question? All right. Does anybody else have any more questions? If there's any question, well, let's pop over to the Discord. See what's going on in the BMX Nerd Network. What's going on with the community over here? We've got the bike picks that I looked at a little bit this morning. You guys have some sick bikes. Kirk put together this Hyper Indy. This is Logan Martin's signature frame. Nice street build. I see some Colony forks on there. Oh man, this sucks. Look at all that snow. Is it snowy where you guys are at right now? It's like 70 degrees. It's so nice right now. Let's see. Alexa, what's the temperature outside?
Good afternoon, Douglas. Right now, it's 65 degrees.
65, man.
Expect a low of
65.
34 degrees.
Loving it. Loving it every second of it. I had to put a jacket on this morning because it was a bit cold. I've been riding the motorcycle while my car's broken. And last night I was getting freezing. I was just wearing a t-shirt. I was like, okay, you know, it's getting a little cold, but at least it's not winter, you know. This is pretty sick, actually. This is a hard to find a bike like this in this condition. I'm a sucker for the old school bikes. I don't know anything about them. You know what? I know absolutely nothing about them, but I can always appreciate one. It's like this thing's been taken good care of. It looks clean. 1998. Bought one exactly like this, brand new. Rode it for a couple years. That's so cool. People find stuff that's well taken care of. Magoo, I like those gum grips. That's a pretty clean build. A lot of people just do all black, so spicing it up with some gum colorway, I appreciate that. You got my favorite color is red, so you guys know that I love this one too. This one's probably one of my favorites that I've seen on here, actually. We should go look at the showcase. I was gonna say, oh, there's a good question in here. What's up, Dirt Racer? I haven't seen you in the streams in a minute. These are always just the high quality Ramp 1, man. I hate Ramp 1. I hate that park so much. God. Hate it. Had a bad experience at Ramp 1. Well, this is pretty interesting. Look at this. It's very flatlandy. A flatlandic bike. Okay, any new riding clips? Nick posted this almost a week ago. Old Nick, are you in here? All right. Good 2-foot drop. That's sick, dude. You got a stair set next. That's sick. Good job. Over 20 inches. Yeah, it's about 2 feet. Lizzo stretch marks. That's clean. That's clean. I want to get into racing. Just do it for like cardio. Bro, if you don't do the full pipe, I'm going to be very disappointed. Hit the full pipe. All right. Oh, that's a crazy one. There's a gap right there in the middle. Could you imagine? Could you imagine grinding that? You guys see that? Imagine looping it, like catching your pegs and then finishing it out. That'd be whack. Dude's ripping in the bowl, though. Love that. Okay. So, I don't know if you would like any advice, but we're going to break it down. I'll give you just a little bit more advice so you can clean this up. But, dude, that's good. You're killing it. You got the threes already. I'm going to tell you right here, there's one problem that's going to change your life here. Okay? With this 360, this one thing's going to change your life. You're going. You turn your head, you carve, you do the 360. But right here, what's your head doing? Hey, you got to keep looking, man. You just you turned and looked behind you and then kept looking behind you when you did the 3. If you kept your head turned while you were doing it, like this 3 would be it'd come around really quick and it'd be really clean. When your head doesn't follow around, it just kind of catches you right there. And so you could see you did stop the rotation. That's why you landed 270 and tapped out. If you keep that body twisted, keep your head turned the whole way through, that's going to be super clean. But good job, dude. No way. All right, he's snowboarding. Okay. I thought he was about to be riding his bike in the snow. I can't wait to go snowboarding this year. I lost my boots, but I have my snowboards up in the garage. It's like a 2-hour drive to go snowboarding, but we don't even have snow yet. We will. I think the end of this month. I think it opens up for just a few months. This looks like it's going to be a crash. Okay, bro's got the balance. Let's go. I thought I was going to see a little kicker and somebody die on the kicker. Love this. Good job, man. This is a crazy guy that crashed on the backflip. Bro's good. It's so good. Jesus. That 540, I'm a little bit jealous because I will never be able to. I don't know. I've done a couple on a quarter, but after that, that's it, man. Oh, come on. They just look so clean. Like, that was sick. Nathan finally got a fakie. Let's go. This is the stuff that makes me happy. This kind of stuff. Because I remember, this was me 14 years ago running into my mom's car and doing a fakie. And I was just like hyped. And it wasn't even about, like, when I got hyped learning a fakie, it wasn't even about hyped because I did like because of the trick. And it's almost never been that. Like I always just get hyped because I struggled with something long enough to get it. And I think that's been more of the thing for me that motivates me as I ride. It's like, cool, a tail whip is sick. And I wanted to land a tail whip because it looks sick. But the fact that I tried it for like a year and a half before it finally worked and I didn't give up and I like kept trying different things and figuring out how to make it work, that's the part that's more exciting. Like that dopamine hit you get when you finally land a new trick and it all pays off is just the best feeling ever. You cannot, that is the best feeling ever. So good job, Nathan. That's sick. I'm proud of you. Is this going to blow up? Dude, you guys are crazy. That's kind of funny. Okay. Hot bar out here in the... What is that, a bus station? That's pretty clean, too. Good job, dude. I'm gonna spit this booger out. Hold on. God, that was gross. Okay, hello, I'm back. That was nasty. Oh, I hate being sick. There's one of my coworkers, like 3 days ago. She's all walking around. She's all, I think I'm getting sick. And I'm like standing there like, okay, go away. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing coughing on me? Like, what the hell? Anyway, now I'm sick, so there you go. It's how the cookie crumbles. I see some questions in here. I'm going to jump in and answer the questions. Oh, are you in the stream right now, bro? The stream, it won't show me your name, but hold on. You just posted another clip. Another one. Oh, you guys are in here posting clips right now. That was a clean one too. So one thing I think would really help you out with it is make sure your knees are pinched a little bit more. So you're doing it before, but then this back one gets a little wonky, and it just causes the bike to stay a little less stable. But dude, your bars are sick. What's Marcus going on? What are you doing, Marcus? Yo.
Oh, nice.
All right, bro. That was too casual. You weren't even trying. Like, you were just chilling. I was really impressed with the rock. It's like an over rock too. And then the bar is so casual. Love it. We got any crashes going on? Not really. Oh, yeah, there's a few. Let's see. Let's check out the crashes we got. Well, okay. This is a bad deal already. What are you doing out here, bro? It's wet. It's not just sprinkling too. It's wet. Like, what are you doing? Stop. This is bad already. If you try and do a spin, I'm going to lose it. If you try to do a 360 or something. The suspense is killing me. What did you think was gonna happen? Oh man. All right, you got this 180. You got that. But just don't do it in the rain. Just don't do it in the rain. I think one tip. Turn your head more. Just like the 360 guy, make sure you're turning your head. You want to be looking behind you. You're looking down right here. So you think about if I'm sitting in this chair and I turn my head, naturally, like I start spinning. You see that? I didn't even push off with my feet. I literally just turned my head, and the way it shifted my body weight, made me spin. Okay. And so it's the same thing on a bike. Like you got to be looking behind you. You got to be twisted up. That 360, that 180, it's going to come around. So that'd be my number one tip. And then, I don't know, it looks like the rain didn't have anything to do with it here, but now you fell down and now you're wet. So I don't know why we're trying tricks in the rain, but you got that. Okay. Get back and get it. Wait, I want to add a laughy face because I think it's like a little bit funny, but let's pick a good emoji here. Do I have a thumbs down? Yeah, let's do a Dougsterbob thumbs down. Basketball always has some good clips. Oh God, I hate when that happens. You land back heavy on a 3 and just whack yourself. Did he get it here, or is it worse? He went back for more. After that crash, he went back for more. Bro got bodied. Okay, let's try and... Can anyone give basketball some advice? What's going wrong here? Anybody? Oh, that is a bad position to be in, man. That is a bad position to be in. The only thing that I would say, like right off the bat, is you got to suck your knees up. Sucking your knees up and pushing your arms forward helps on a 360 keep it more level, so you don't get all back heavy. Because right here, your back, like your legs are extended out, and when your legs are extended out, your back tire is going to go down. And that's exactly what happens here. So if your knees were sucked up and your arms were pushed out, you've got your knees extended and your arms pulled in, and that's just like, that is not a good position to be in. Come off, knees up, arms out. Suck it up. That's a beefy 360 too. And you got up and did it again. Brave. That was solid, man. That was solid. Are you good? Yeah. Well, now what? Now what? What are you doing, dude? That's what Hank says. You should consider career as a stuntman. You take a beating with style. Honestly, like, how do you just throw yourself like that? I'd be done after a crash like that. I'm done. Oh, wait. Did this say homemade jump in under 15 minutes with mostly rotting wood? Oh God. Look, you know, homemade jumps are not good. This is going to be bad. Oh, no, that was fine. You killed it, dude. The jump is not the problem. You had a pretty solid homemade jump, looks like. Just landed a little unbalanced. Oh, that was so fine. That was fine, dude. All right. Okay, I saw a couple questions I want to answer here. Advayu says, did pro get more money in the past or in now or now? I guess I really don't know. I know, like, people talk about the Dave Mirra era. They said, hey, you know, Dave Mirra used to have these big sponsorships, like the Slim Jim thing, I think Mountain Dew, like those were huge sponsorships, and BMX was at like an all-time high around that era. So like they were getting paid good checks to compete and to sign those deals. And I think you still see that nowadays. Like Red Bull riders get, from what I understand, 6 figures a year. It's a pretty good deal to ride your bike, you know, and that's just one sponsor, and that doesn't include like getting paid to podium and like different things like that, and different partnerships that you do with other companies and whatever. So I'd say it's still there, but it's still very spread out. Like I would say there's 10%, maybe even 5% of riders make really good money, and the rest of them don't make very much money, even pros. That's what I would say. I would say like Panza, good money. Nigel Sylvester, good money. Like you could argue, we could take out Nigel, not Nigel. Would say, Courage Adams, good money. Kevin Peraza, good money. Like those dudes, Chad Curley, really good money. So like there's a handful of those guys who are just like the top. that have built more of like they're not all just competing. Like I think Garrett makes good money, but he has other ventures too. But anyway, like just strictly competing, you look at people like, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I would say Sandoval probably makes okay money, but not at that same level as like those other guys that I mentioned. So there's definitely levels to it. But anyway, if you think about like, oh, millionaire BMX riders, they make good money. You know, they can buy a house, they can live comfortably, they can ride their bike. That's cool. But they're not making like boatloads of money, boats and boats of money. And I don't know. I'd say it was probably the same back then. There was a handful of really high caliber guys that made all the money, and the rest of them just made like a little bit of money. One above all says, when do 2024 bikes usually come out? They should be out already, and they're not. Why? Because there's a big overstock of bikes. There's a huge overstock of bikes. What Kink did here was they released their 2023 line as a summer series. So if you guys remember, around COVID time, bikes would come out. Like Kink bikes were usually the first out, and they would come out very like way before 2024, like mid-year they'd come out, and then other brands would be a little bit closer to like the end of the year, but they always come out a year before. Like they would always come out before 2024. So I think it's a little bit rare that we're not seeing any 2024 bikes out yet. But I would say like BMX is definitely in a dip right now. During COVID, it blew up. Everyone wanted to get a bike. Everyone wanted to get out and start riding. And then shipping took a long time. Getting bikes here took a long time. And like by the time all the bikes came and everything got here, the BMX boom was kind of over. People are going back to work. They don't have time to ride anymore. So you're just seeing that's what's going on right now. There's a big overstock of bikes. And so because of that, like why would they pump out 2024 bikes when they still have a ridiculous amount of 2023 bikes? I just, to them, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me either. You've got a lot of bikes on sale. They're trying to push that inventory. They're trying to move the inventory. But, yo, what's up, Samuel? The Cube guy. But yeah, you know, just a big overstock of bikes. You think about it, 2 years ago, this time 2 years ago, bikes were out like this, out of stock. Every single bike was out of stock. And so for that reason, you know, they'd pump out 2024 line to get more bikes in stock. And now we just have just a huge overstock of bikes. So I don't know when they're going to come out with 2024. I really have no idea, but it's been a crazy ride, man. So many people were buying bikes 2020, 2021. Like I was in a good position doing what I'm doing. And now it's slowing down for sure, but somebody's honking out there. But people are still getting into the sport. And I love that. I love to see all the new faces coming over and hanging out. But yeah, so 2024 bikes should be out by now, but they're not because there's a huge overstock of bikes, and they probably won't release 2024 bikes until they sell out some of the stuff that they have in stock. Because what happens when the new line comes out is all the previous model goes on clearance, right? So I don't know. I think they have a hard time justifying that, pushing out that clearance, because usually it's like a few of the less popular lines have some bikes left over. They push it out for clearance. It's not a big deal. But when it's like tons and tons of bikes that they're going to be selling on clearance, I just don't think they could make that move. What's up, Chief? Chief, got to do a check-in on Kirk. I haven't seen Kirk today. Hope Kirk is doing good. All right, guys. I'm going to pop off of here. And what do I need to do? Oh, I need to edit some stuff. I'm slacking on the progression videos. Since my car's been broken, I haven't gone to ride. This whole time I haven't gone to ride. I really want to. So I'm going to order the radiator, get that fixed, and we'll get back to it. But anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me in the stream. Go join the BMX Nerd Network, join that Discord community. Everyone in there is super cool. And we'll see you next week, okay? Appreciate y'all.